Hello there, my viewer. Welcome to Sans TV 4 p.m. Brief News. I am your host, Edna Kaindi, and this is my sign name. I'm sign language interpreter voicing Esther Kendi. Welcome to the Brief News. The Kenya Union of Special Needs Educators has re-elected James Torome as Secretary General, extending his tenure for another term following an unopposed election held in Narok. A total of 13 other national officials also retained their positions, underscoring continuity within the union leadership. Delegates, drawn from various counties, unanimously endorsed the leadership term, citing strong performance and effective representation of educators working with learners with special needs, and the outcome reflected broad consensus among members, with the exercise concluding smoothly without contest. Returning Officer Rebecca Kusnet said the results signaled deep confidence in the leadership's capacity to guide the organization forward, and she noted that the unopposed outcome demonstrated unity within Kusnet and trust in the current leadership to advance the union's agenda in the coming term. And away from that, we have members of the Orange Democratic Movement in Kakamega County have raised concerns over growing internal challenges within the party, calling for immediate intervention by the national leadership. They urge that unresolved disputes in the county level have continued to strain relations among party officials and supporters. The members warned that persistent wrangles risk fragmenting the ODM Kakamega branch into rival factions. A development, they say, could weaken the party's union and overall political influence in the region. They caution that failure to address the division promptly may negatively affect grassroots mobilization and future electoral prospects. ODM supporters in the county are now urging decisive action through dialogue and reconciliation mechanism to restore cohesion. They maintain that swift leadership intervention is essential in stabilizing the party and reinforcing discipline and persevering ODM's strong support base in Kakamega County. Residents of the Moyoi community in Logoren, Transmara South, took to the streets to protest the closure of local mines following years of alleged harassment by suspected government officers attached to the Ministry of Mining from Nairobi. And the demonstrators said the situation had become unbearable, promoting them to publicly voice their grievances. And according to the residents, officials from the ministry have repeatedly intimidated miners and community members, accusing them of operating illegally and forcing them out of mining sites. They claim the action have disrupted livelihoods in the area and where mining is a key source of income for many households. Protesters are now demanding for dialogue and intervention from relevant authorities, calling for fair treatment and transparency in the management of mining activities. They warned that continued harassment and exclusion from the mines will further escalate tension unless the issue is addressed urgently. And away from that news update, the late Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital Committee pharmacists Richard Richard Rotich, who was brutally killed by armed robbers at his home on January 6th, has been laid to rest on Saturday in a highly emotional ceremony in his rural home in Koiser Village, Bawesa Ward, Baringo County, in Baringo North constituency. Family members, colleagues, friends, and residents gathered to mourn Rotich, describing him as a dedicated health professional whose life was cut short in a senseless act of violence. And speakers at the funeral paid glowing tributes, highlighting his commitment to serving and his contribution towards the health sector. The burial renewed calls for enhanced security in the area, with mourners urging authorities to intensify efforts to curb the rising insecurity, and many expressed hope that justice will be served as if the community struggle to come to terms with a tragic loss. And on to our final news update, we have Kenya is set to benefit from the increased employment opportunities and expanded access to global fashion opportunities of the official opening of the first Tommy Hilfiger flagship store in Nairobi. The launch marks a significant milestone in the country's retail and fashion industry, positioning Kenya as a growing hub for international brands. The store was unveiled by Gideon Group, a Lebanon-based fashion company that introduces the global renowned Tommy Hilfiger brand to the Kenyan market, and the purpose-designed retail space reflects the brand international design standard, offering shoppers an authentic, fashion-forward experience aligned with global identity. Industry players says that the entry of the flagship store is expected to simulate job creation, enhance skills transfer, and strengthen Nairobi's profile as a regional shopping destination. The move is also a signal of growing confidence by international investors in Kenya and customer market and retail infrastructure. Now we've come to the end of the news update. Thank you for joining us here at Science TV News. I have been your host, Edna Kaindi, and this is my sign name, sign language interpreter, Esther Kindi. See you on the Prime News.